everybody? How you guys doing? This is Bryce Stratton from Victims to Victors. Today, our guest is not a regular guy, man. This guy, he's been through the ups and downs, the twists and turns, and he's changed his life, started going down the right path. And that, by golly, like when I first started watching him, I was watching with my wife, and I was like, "Yo, this brother is smashing fools." My wife is like, "No, he's not black." I'm like, "What you mean he's not black?" He's like, "Yo, he's not black. Look at his face." So I scroll back, and I'm like, "Hold on, he's walking, he's talking the way." And then I was like, "Yo, he came to your face," and I was like, this is a white boy." Oh shit! And I realized you just tatted up. I was like, man, but this brother's got stories for days. If you go onto his channel, Mighty Mouse UFL, Facebook, YouTube, you got an Instagram there?
Nah, we don't use it, man. I just use the Facebook group page and pretty much YouTube stuff, man. That's fun, man. That consumes enough time.
Man, that's the truth. That's the truth now. Hey, man, but brother, Mighty Mouse, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, bro. How you been doing, man?
Man, like I said, man, living the good life up, freezing my backside off in Canada. Boy, it's cold. It's too cold, man.
Yeah, I couldn't live up there, man. Bro, what about like British Columbia though? British Columbia, I heard it's not as cold on that side over there.
Yeah, but it's like England over there. So like if it's not snowing, it's raining. You feel me? So like in England, it just rains all the time. Over there, it just rains.
Right. But the temperature don't get as cold though, right?
Oh no. Yeah, you're probably like a fall type of temperature, like a hoodie, like a light jacket type of thing, but nothing like big Parker. Like I got like 2 sweaters on, a t-shirt on. I got a winter jacket. Like it's bad, bro.
It's like it's not that warm here. It's like 6. But I'm sure that it's a lot colder there.
Oh, it's definitely colder, bro. You said it's not warm, but you got like a freaking t-shirt, like a muscle shirt on. Come on, man.
Nah, it's 60 out. It ain't bad, ain't that bad.
Man, I probably be walking, just no shirt, my damn self, just like that. Gone, like shit. Everybody gonna see what's popping, cause dang, if I don't gotta worry about the snow, shit, like it's too bad, man. I remember one time, truly, I was working this club. I was so cold. I had to put my hand in a fist because if anything popped off, my hand would be so frozen that it wouldn't be able to move. So I just had to stay straight, put my fist in my pocket, and just like walk around with my fist in my pocket. Because if I take them out, I'm ready. But if I had them out, like, I'm just slapping people or something. I don't know. It's wild.
Well, brother, hold it with your other hand, smack somebody.
Telling you, man. But brother, man, where'd you grow up, man? Where you born and raised at?
I was born and raised up in the DC area, man, up in like Northern Virginia, DC and stuff. And then I lived out here down here like in Virginia Beach area for a long time.
Oh shoot! So West Virginia?
Nah, not West Virginia. Virginia, up right up by like DC.
Oh shoot! Okay, that's not
bad.
Like
up by Washington. Yeah, not far.
That's bad, bro. So like, what were you like in like school, like high school? Like if me and you sitting beside each other, I was a wrestler, right? What were you like, grade 10?
Yeah, I wrestled since I was 7. I won states and districts and regional. Well, I won states 1 year in high school. I won districts and regionals every year in high school. I won like Georgia State games. I was on the national team, so for freestyle and Greco-Roman. So I was in big tournaments and stuff, because I wrestled year round. I didn't play no other sports. I didn't play football. I didn't play basketball. We wrestled year round, or we went to wrestling camp. There was no break.
Really? Yeah. See, like up here, like you just got like just high school wrestling. Maybe you'll get some clubs, but like nothing as serious as that, man. I would love to have that type, and man, we don't got that. We don't got that.
Man. We got little league, man, always like 5 years old here, and then you then you can go all the way up. I'm trying to get my son in it now, but this COVID shit, it stopped all the youth programs from going on.
Yeah,
messed everybody up.
That's messed up, man. Like, how was the family when you back home, or like when you with the parents, like mom, dad, like middle class, upper class, lower class?
We were well. My mom's very, very rich now, but my mom's from Lebanon, right? So we were really poor when I was a kid.
Mm.
So we lived in, like low income. We lived in we never had like no never got no like government or nothing like that. You know,
Yeah.
we were just really poor. You know what I mean? My mom worked 2 jobs and stuff like that, so we were pretty much like on the lower end. You
So
know,
not
but
no white privilege over there, huh?
yeah, yeah, we went shit down. My mom, they flipped house. My mom and my stepdad, man. You know, my dad was in prison, so you know, when I grew up, we were poor, we were broke. But
Wow.
my mom, they flip houses and stuff now. They make a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, they're
Oh
doing pretty
shoot.
good. My mom's got like, yeah, she got like 4 or 5 different rental properties and stuff like that now. She makes a lot of money.
Dang.
Yeah.
Back in Lebanon?
Nah, hell nah. I've never even been over there. Nah, she's lived over here almost all her whole life. She was just born.
Oh shoot. Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. And your pops was
they,
from the
yeah,
band, huh?
yeah. My dad's white. My dad was in prison. Pretty much most of my life for real, like when I was a kid, and then he died in '94. So,
Inside or
yeah.
he was out?
Nah, actually, I was just going to juvenile correctional center. I was getting ready to graduate, and I ended up getting locked up right after residency,
Oh, fuck.
and went to juvenile correctional center. While my dad was just getting out of the adult prison, so I missed my dad pretty much all the way around. By the time I got out of the juvenile system, he already got killed out here on the street.
Really,
So
huh?
you know, yeah, so I didn't really even see my dad on the street, none. You know, for real.
Damn. Dang, man.
Yeah.
So like could I ask what did you like talk at all or like it was just like he was in prison like we done?
Nah. When he was in prison, like, he would send pictures, like them lifting weights and working out. Really, that's what kept me going. Like that
Mm.
him sending those pictures there, like made me think that prison was a good time. You know what I mean? Like I would see these prison pictures and workout pictures and stuff, and I had weights at my house. Like man, I was 7, 8, 9 years old, asking for weights and exercise equipment as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of Nintendo and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I was really tuned to that shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
plus,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wrestled, so it all went hand in hand. And shit, I'm doing the same thing. 43 years old, and I'm still doing the same type of shit. You know what I mean?
Jeez. Can I ask what
Yeah.
did he go in the bin for?
He had a malicious wound and a robbery charge, man. But he ended up catching more time while he was in there. And stabbing charge while he was in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He really would have been out. He really would have been out like 4 years earlier than what he did and shit.
Oh
Because,
shit.
but yeah, see, in prison when you catch stabbing charges, they don't give you as much time as if you catch them on the street. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but they'll still give you a street case. You know what I mean? If you stab somebody, it's not just in-house shit. So they still
Yeah.
will add time to your bid. They will take you back to
Mm.
court if you catch a murder or stabbing inside the prison. They'll take you
Yeah.
back to court for that shit.
But if
You'll
it's
catch
just
the
straight
fresh.
scrapping, you fine.
Fuck, nah, you good. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same. Yeah, same here. Same here. Like
I mean,
as long as you don't.
for real, you catch a stabbing charge and a lot of times and be good. But it just depends on how severe it is. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
severity.
Facts. 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 So like, what's it called? Just so after, so all of high school, you're pretty much a jock, you're a wrestler. You just hard on the mats and stuff, right?
Yeah, nah, I was living styles, you know what I'm saying? Because I was living like I was around the guys in my neighborhood, and then I was also around the guys I was playing sports with. So there was literally times I would skip school, walk home, and then walk back to school just to go back to wrestling practice. Man.
Shit.
And pretty much, man, like I would miss so much school. I don't know how the fuck I passed. Like the gym teacher was also the wrestling coach.
Oh
So
shit. Yeah.
I'm sure he had something to do with it because I had to keep a key average. He had a hand in making sure I passed.
Push you work,
You know what I mean?
pushing you through.
Because there's no
Yeah.
way I passed. There's no way I passed. You know what I mean? Not for real. No way.
Just one thing. So you were either with the boys dudes on the street on the mats. Were you like fixed up with the girls at all, or like you're just like that high school? You were just like fuck the girls. Like I just want to.
Yeah. Nah, man. I mean, like I said, we had like the girls, neighborhood and stuff like that, little hood rat chicks and stuff, and then we had the girls at the school that were that only messed with like the wrestlers or the football players or whatever. So like
Yeah.
I had two different lifestyles. I had two different groups of people that I fucked with, two different sets of girls that I would fuck with. I mean, so We had the girls in the neighborhood, which was an easy case, and then you had the girls like your data booth. You know what I mean? The girls that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to hand with and shit. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts. See, and you said that you like I had two separate lives, and I can see you that because I remember one of your prison talks. You're like, I worked out with the Hispanics, I talk with the white boys, but you use I think you said you GB, right? Like
Yeah, GD. Yep.
GDDD, yeah. Like so that's some brothers over there. So like you just like
Yeah,
you fuck with everybody.
yeah, it's mixed, but this is the East Coast, man. Like you can do that out here. Like the politics are not the same. The point. What we do out here would never be able to fly in California. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's a race segregation. You know what I mean? Out here, you can do that. You got white Crips out here. We got a set out here. We got like Asian gangster disciples that are all Asian. You got Russian disciples with all white dudes. You got
Yeah.
Diamond City Royals with all white dudes. You got Satan's disciples, which are all Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
you got different groups, and but we all together under the stick. So we're all together no matter what. See, there's buds in Virginia that like Crip and like the GD come together. They unite out here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh shoot.
but that don't
Yeah.
fly if you go to Chicago or you go to California or something like that. Those politics wouldn't work. That wouldn't
Right, right.
fly. So we have our own shit here on the East Coast. You know what I mean? It's different.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
It's different. That's fun.
Yeah, it's
That's
different.
wild. So
Yeah.
yourself, you went from athlete, doing your thing on the mats, and then you were also messing with dudes on the street. When did the street life get more appealing to you to go that way?
Uh, man, look, I mean, we used to steal out of Foot Locker and all that shit when we were kids, man. I mean, it didn't take long to learn that we have shit. So for us to have something, we had to steal it or take it. You know what I mean? Because you weren't gonna get but one pair of shoes, for school. That was that.
That's
You
a
know what I mean?
truth
There was
now.
you weren't getting those Jordan clothes. You weren't getting those Nike clothes. You weren't getting that shit unless you stole it. You Kmart shit or Walmart shit. You weren't getting none of that nice stuff.
Yep.
So I knew for me to be able to keep up with the other kids in school, not necessarily the kids that were in our neighborhoods on my side of town, but the other side of town, the kids that went to school with, for us to have that nice shit, we knew we had to do what we had to do to take it. So I learned at an early age. I think was that we were for. So I was in the streets then. You know what I mean? Just so I could dress the same as other kids and have the same stuff that they got. You know what I mean? So I figured it out early. You know?
Straight, straight. So did you get into more of like the violence of it, like in the sense of scrapping, taking stuff, or you were like more like more on the dope boy side, bringing in that money inside?
Nah, man, we were more on that boy type shit, man, stealing people's shit and then like trading guns for drugs and stuff like that type of stuff, man. We never really did. I never really did any of the robbery. I never really did any of the physical assault shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah,
hands-on type of. I was more like I was more like take your shit, flip your shit type stuff. And then I started selling drugs when I got out of prison the first time. You know what I mean? I
oh
wasn't into
shoot,
the drug game until I had already done my first prison bid. You know what I mean?
really, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I mean, a little bullshit. I might sell a little weed or something like that. So
Yeah,
people
yeah,
own weed, free type shit. But I really didn't start like hustling until I got out of prison. You know what I mean?
daggone it. What would you say is like if you went back? I was just talking to my boy the same thing. If you were to go back in high school, what would be like the one thing you'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna not do this or I'm gonna do more of this? Like myself, I would get more girls, quite frankly. I was a wrestler. I didn't really care about the books, but I would just go to get more girls, quite frankly. That would be more of my thing, getting the books more. Girls and books would be my two things that I would do. What about
Yeah,
yourself?
I would have I would have took. Then I had scholarships after my senior year. I had scholarships lined up for wrestling and shit. So to a couple
Shit.
D3s and D3 schools out here. So um, some pretty good wrestling schools for real for the United States that I could
Uh,
wrestle at. And
yeah.
I would have took that more serious. You know what I mean? Instead of I was like really intrigued by like guns and doing shit like that when I was a kid, man. Like
Yeah.
I like guns and money and stuff like that, man. It was just it overshadowed everything else. Kind of
Facts.
probably would have said fuck that, and then maybe followed the college route and started wrestling, man. But you
Mm.
know, at the end of the day, though, man, where I'm at right now, what I'm doing now, I don't think I would change anything that's
Facts.
happened. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Facts.
as much
You
as
know,
much as much as I want to because of the agony I've been through, I wouldn't be able to help out the people and do what I'm doing now if I ain't been through what I've been through. You know what I mean? So for me,
facts.
it's like
Facts.
I can't. I'm not willing to. I wouldn't take none of that.
Facts. For myself, I was always on the verge. You know what I mean? I was never like I never like jumped full in. Like one time I was sat down about harvesting. Y'all, you know about harvesting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I was talking to people about harvesting stuff, and I was like, man, I can get into this, but it never panned out. I'd make
right.
some phone calls, and people like, yeah, somebody can put on work over here, but it never panned out. And I always found out that,
Right.
like, for myself, it never like really jived. You know what I mean? Like when I was starting to come up, we had a lot of MS-13 started coming up. We got a lot of Russians starting
Yeah,
to come up, and they just want some crazy people that do some crazy stuff, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'll do what you want to
yeah,
do, just give me that money. And so I talked to one dude, hey, have you ever heard about harvesting? I was like what, crops? Like growing stuff? And he looked like me like I was an idiot. He's like, what's
yeah,
wrong with you? He's like, nah. And then he like broke it down like what harvesting really was. And I was just
yeah,
like, shit, I don't give a fuck, like, tell me what to
yeah.
do, where to go, I got you. But it never really panned out, right? It never went full fruition. Thankfully, I guess that's probably not a road I want to go down. But
Yeah, no
you know,
doubt.
but
There's a lot of MS-13 dudes out here. Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot out here. Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of them.
like I'm telling you, man, like you guys, like the southern part is pretty locked down, pretty tough, but people still get in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't
yeah,
matter how you lock it down, it's gonna get in. But like I was telling you, like, the American and Canadian border is not that is
yeah,
not that
yeah.
hard.
It's
So
hard to get across.
we starting to get some,
Yeah,
bro. You sometimes can spit across sometimes.
man.
But
I'd come over there if it wasn't so fucking close.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm,
Like,
I'm tired of it here, man. I'm for real, man. Everything that goes on down here, man. Especially now with the presidency stuff and all that shit. Man. What y'all got up there, like kings and shit? Or y'all got presidents? What do they got in Canada?
no, yeah, we got prime ministers. So
Oh, okay.
like,
I thought y'all had
yeah, they
some shit.
we got the queen too, but she don't do too much shit. She just sits there and looks pretty. We just got to pay her taxes to
Yeah,
the queen. She wants our money.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Like, we were talking the other day. You said, hey, you wouldn't mind coming up here, and me and my wife were like, shit, I want to go to Texas. Quite frankly, I want to go to Texas or Florida. You know.
love Texas, bro. I was on the run down in Florida, man. I kind of burnt Florida out, man. Texas is way better, man. Texas, yeah,
Yeah,
for real.
for real, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah,
I like the because like I don't got a felony, right? I only just got a misdemeanor, so I'd still be able to
yeah.
carry, right? So I
Yeah,
like it.
you can come.
Yeah, so like
Yeah,
I can still do, like, I can still get my concealed carry permit, all that stuff. Shoot some shit and have fun. But also
yeah,
the taxes, bro. The taxes are sweet in Texas, brother.
yeah. Texas is sweet, bro. I mean, the gas. I don't know what the gas prices are where you're at, but the gas prices like in Texas are like $1.60. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's
about
like
that's
it's like
about us.
two
Like,
cents. Oh
yeah, it's
yeah,
about like $1.20 around, like depending on where you go, but around there, that's for us. Yeah,
yeah. See up here, man, our shit is like $1, like two. I just pay 207 or some shit for gas. You know what I
shit.
mean? It's more expensive up here. Yeah, yeah. Texas, everything's cheaper in Texas, man. The
Damn,
housing, like to buy a house out there, it's super cheap. It's way better, man.
trust me, man.
Way
Like, I
weather.
find like America is, like, quite frankly, like, in my opinion, the last of Mohicans. It's like the
Yeah,
last bit of hope and the last bit of freedom in this world. Is America. Quite frankly, I think.
I think everybody thinks that, man. That's it, man. America now, right now, is all fucked up, man. Especially like with the presidency and shit like that going on. A lot of
Yeah,
stupid shit going down here, man. These dudes they're down here riding in the streets, man. They done tore a lot of shit down here from the last riot. That they didn't even started building back up. You know, they just
shit.
fucking left. I mean, yeah, they tear shit up. They look for anything, man. For real, they don't even really care about the weight. A lot of these people are just opportunists, man. So as soon as they start riding, they just come down here to steal a bunch of shit, break into it.
Facts,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
They don't really
And
care about. They don't really care about the weight in the hand. You know?
and see that's why I like what like the stuff that you do, right? Like you get into the
Yeah,
streets and you like get guys off the, or not a sense off the streets, but like to have a different mindset, right? You're not saying,
right.
hey, stop with the violence, stop. You're just saying, hey, just do it a different way. This guy doesn't have to
Yeah,
die because he fucked your girl. Like you just punch him
yeah.
in his face, break his jaw. It's okay. But
Yeah, you can
yeah,
fight
man.
and live another day, man. When you put gloves on, that's our whole movement. Guns down, gloves up. So it's basically, man, you can duke it out, you can fight. A lot of these kids out here, these young dudes out here, don't know nothing about fighting, man. That's all. Their egos are too big to fight. So first thing they're gonna do is shoot you because they're too scared to fight. They don't want to take a loss, especially in front of a girl or their homeboys or their gang
Facts,
and shit like that. So the first thing they're gonna do, they're just gonna smoke, and then they
facts.
can still walk around with these chest stops if they act like they did something. But that's a bitch move. That they didn't really do shit.
Yeah. And it's sad, like, even here, like, it's pretty easy to pick up whatever you want to pick up off the street. You just need to know some people, just need to talk to some people.
Yeah,
How is it down there if you want
yeah.
to pick up something? Is it pretty easy?
Oh man, there's like I said, I mean, you can go get anything you want down here, man. I mean, you got this type of drug in this neighborhood, you got this type of drug in that neighborhood, you got the guns. Guns are fucking everywhere in the United States. You can get guns anywhere out here, but it's so easy. I mean, you'll have other drug dealers tell you where the other drugs are. If you try to get something over here, they're like, "Nah, we don't have that over here. You got to go down that street over there. They got the shit down
What?
there that you don't." You know what I'm
Yeah?
saying? Yeah, that, I can take you down downtown Newport News. You're gonna end up finding
Wow.
whatever you want. They got a whole block full of dope. They got another block full of meth. They got another block full of crack. Whatever you want, man. They got it all.
Wow. Do you see like more kids getting into it? Like here, we got kids smoking weed and doing a bit of shrooms and stuff, but like nothing too hard until you get to like grade 12. Like when you get up to there, then you start getting into ecstasy and stuff like that. How do you guys see it down there with the drugs?
Ecstasy is not even around here no more, man. Everybody's on Molly. You don't even see ecstasy down here. But there's a lot like cocaine and shit. There's no cocaine down here. Everybody's on meth now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does
Really?
coke. Nah, it's all meth, man. Everybody's on harder drugs, man. Nobody's
Shit.
on like back when I grew up, people were doing like powder and shit like that, man, and e-pills and stuff like that. You don't even hear about that shit out here. Everybody's either they on the pills, they on heroin, meth. That's about it, man. There's really nothing else. Nobody really messes with a lot of other shit.
So weed's
You know?
pretty light,
But
huh?
uh, man, but that's man, and like weed's legal everywhere down here now. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, okay,
we
that's
don't
what's up.
even
Yeah,
that's
it's like
that's not
whatever.
even like yeah, that's not even consideration anymore.
Yeah,
But it's nah, yeah, young kids are smoking weed for sure. It just depends. It depends on what they're doing in life, man. If they're a lot of young kids now, especially with the top generation and shit that's out now. Like I come from a generation of hip hop hustlers. You know what I mean? And these hip hop dudes out here now, they're all junkies. You know what I mean? So a lot of these young kids now are junkies. They're
yep,
following right along with these hip hop artists. All these hip hop artists are always talking about popping this pill and drinking this syrup and doing this shit and all that other stuff. So these young
yeah,
kids are out here doing the same thing. I was around, I was around. Motherfuckers was out here robbing and selling drugs. They were real hustlers. And they were really doing dirt in the street. Now these
yeah.
kids are out here, they just junk.
Jeez. Like, so your name's Mighty Mouse, and obviously you pretty yoked as a motherfucker. so when did you like get from the point where it's just like you switched, like that mind was like, I'm gonna go get mine when I get mine. You know what I mean? Was it when you were younger, like just seeing
Yeah,
everybody?
young man, super young. Yeah, because like I said, I learned from an early age we didn't have shit. So yeah, I was stealing shit. Like I said, Foot Locker back in the day used to have the shoes on the shelf. You know what I mean? Like they had the boxes and shit on the shelf. You didn't have to go in the back shit like that. You could always
Yeah,
see like now at Foot Locker you can't see but one shoe. Then they got to go in the back to get your size. When I was young, Foot Locker had all their shit out.
everything
You
out.
didn't have to
Yep,
go in the back. Yeah,
yep.
everything was out. So when I went there, I put a pair of shoes on the bounce. And so I, from an early age, if I wanted to, I had to take it. So it didn't take long.
Facts, facts. So you did two straight two eights, right?
Yeah, quit your biz. Yep.
What was your first eight for?
I had burglary, grand into the firearm, and a bunch of grand larceny, man. But I had a mass amount of shit, man. So I ended up taking a lot of plea bargains where they dropped a lot of my shit down. So I ended up with like 5 burglaries and 5 grand larcenies, and they dropped the brandish and the firearm shit and the larceny of the firearms, and they dropped my cocaine. So I have distribution, I just had possession of cocaine. But they dropped a bunch of my charges, but I also pled guilty to a lot of charges that I know I didn't break into half of that shit that they were trying to pin on me, but I had a court appointed attorney. So, and I don't
Yeah,
know how it ends up there, but down here, if you got appointed attorneys, if you don't have no money, you know what I mean, you basically got more time than money, you're gonna do the time out here. You know what I mean? It's
yep,
basically
same.
you ain't got no money to fight a case. You don't got a paid lawyer. You better take that plea bargain they come with you. You trying to fight that
Facts.
shit, you might end up with a life sentence. You know what I mean? They don't play. You know,
Like a
so
real life
they,
sentence, like full life.
yeah, easy. Like I mean, I was facing just off of what I just told you, man. I was facing like 40 years, and I was like 18 years old, 19 years old when I heard 40 years. Like they're like, listen, we're gonna drop this, we're gonna drop this, and you're gonna end up with 7 years and 8 months. Like if you don't, and you want to take it to trial, you're taking a chance of them smoking your ass. You know, they're gonna give you all that shit the whole 40 years. So I was like, nah, fuck that. I'll take the 7 years and 8 months. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Fuck that. You know, and that's how they work around here, man. So if you don't take, and especially if you're in the federal system's got a 98% success rate on closing cases. So if you got a federal charge, it don't even matter how much money you got. So if that's where all the millionaires are, where all the mafia, all your big, all your real big caliber criminals that are really making money, man. Your king, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Your those are all federal inmates, man. Those are your big willies. So when they got you, they
it's
don't
over.
care about your money. Your money don't mean shit to the Fed. When they got you, they want your life. They want everything from you. They want you to bring down everybody else with you. They want to bring down your whole entire organization. They want it all. And if you don't, you're doing life. They're not Feds are not playing. So they got a 98% success
Ah,
rate without going to trial. You don't even go to trial in the Feds. I don't know anybody that's ever been to trial in the Feds. Don Gotti, no, none of them do. Nobody goes to trial.
it's all
Take,
what?
take
Wow.
a penalty plea. You take a penalty plea, you plea out, and that's that. It's a wrap.
Damn, man. Oh,
Uh,
you know, so for us, right? This is what for us, you know, we get our sentence in, we go underneath the court, right? The guys come in, they cuff us up, go underneath the court, do a whole search there. Hey, they get that question, where do you want to be placed? Do you want to go to GP or you want to go to we call it security here, so basically like protective custody type of thing, like if you
yeah,
did
yeah,
along with
yeah,
the
yeah,
kid or whatever. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
so you make that choice. So you go. So I went to General because what the fuck, and bro, I seen this monster. I was just like, shit, I gotta go with with him. This guy looked like I want to go in there. He's like, it's your
yeah,
choice, and he's like, oh, we got a cell over here. So I was so happy. And so I got this young buck with me, and we started talking back and forth. My guy, he was like, "Yo, did you bring anything?" I'm like, "They took my phone. They took my. They took my. What are you talking about? Bring
He talking
anything?"
about you bracelets in your ass.
he's like, he's like, "Yo, where's it? Do you got a suitcase?" I'm like, "A suitcase? Nigga, do you see me? I got nothing on." He's like, "Oh, you fresh, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is my first time." And this guy's like, "Yo, you got anything up that ass, boy?" I'm like, "The fuck you talking about, bro? I don't got shit." He's like, "Bro, do you know anybody inside?" I'm like, I made some phone calls, whatever. And he's like, "You better hope they know people." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Bro, you look like a nice guy." Like I'm always
Yeah,
smiling, I'm always having a good time. He's like, "Bro, when we get in that bus or when we start chaining up when the bus gets called, straight face, don't fucking smile, don't talk too much." He was just giving me a lowdown. I'm like, "Yo, bro, how old are you?" Dude was 19. I'm just like, bro, you talking to me like you been in? He's like, yeah, I just did a year and a half. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. And so we get in the bus, we drive like behind God's back, and we get to the thing, and we had to go into we had to sit in the chair, right, to scan you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got those
yeah,
too.
yeah. So we scanned, and he's like, all right, you come over here. What size are you? I'm like, all right. So I give him my size. And he's like, all right, strip down. I'm like, right here. And he's like, yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you like? I can't go like no washroom. He's like, strip fucking down. I'm like, oh shit. So I start taking my shit off. Right. And I'm like, so I reach out to get the clothes because my jumpsuit was right there, right?
Yeah.
And dude's like, nah, turn around, spread them cheeks. I'm like, no, you serious? He's like, do you want me to tell you twice? I'm like, oh shit. So we go through the whole process. So my question getting to all this is like, what is your system? So like once you get, once you know, hey, this is your time, what is your process going through the thing?
um. Well, when you go to the jails and stuff like that, you basically you still hear me?
Yeah,
You still hear me, right?
yeah, we good.
Never mind. All right. No, I just turned the heat off. I didn't know if it fucking kind of like the speaker started echoing. But no, we kind of the same thing, man. If you don't go, if you're coming into the court, that's something different. But if you're getting like locked up straight from the street, they push you straight to jail, and you go in front of a magistrate, which is basically to see if they want to give you a bond or not. So you don't
Mm,
even go to court. So if they don't give you a bond or whatever, then they process you kind of just like what you said. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You got to strip search and all that type of shit, drop squat cough, all that type of stuff, and then they give you your jumpsuits and whatever. This is for the jail, and then then they put you in like a holding cell until they can
yeah,
classify you because depending on your charges and shit, or you got the option to do what you just said, stay in the hole or whatever, so you instead of going into the general population, you got that option too. But our jail system is different than prison. You don't just go
mm,
straight to prison. You gotta go to the jail. You might spend a year or two in jail fighting your case or going to court and stuff like that. So
yeah.
your jail's nothing but a holding spot till you
Oh
either go
wow.
to prison or go home. So you
Yeah,
don't. And then when you go from jail to prison, you go through another classification. And then they take you and they'll put you in another type of prison type thing to classify you, and you might stay there for like a year. And then it's basically like depending on your charge, if you got like 30 or 40 years or whatever, you're gonna probably go to a 3 or a 4. You're gonna go to a max. And if you got maybe like 10 years or less, or 7 years or 5 years or something like that, you
yeah.
might go to like a level 2. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So which is a dormitory. And then if you got a lot of violence inside the system, say you kill or rape people inside, and or you're like a what's called a SGT, a security gang threat, basically like a stock caller or something like that, or you've ordered people to die inside the system or something like that. If I ordered like another young dude to kill another dude or something like that, there'll be
yeah,
like a called red onion, which is a level 6. So they got red onion. We got 4 in Virginia. We got
shit.
red onion, Walnut Ridge, Sussex 1, and Sussex 2. So basically, they'll send you way up there. It's like a 24-hour day lockdown. You don't ever even see people and shit. The showers in
Whoa.
your cell. Your back door is hooked to a dog cage, so you get to go out to that little dog cage for an hour a day for your breakfast. You don't never go anywhere. You basically everything is hooked to yourself. Your mail is on a video screen. Like you don't never touch any of your mail. Like
What?
everything that you do is basically done straight to yourself, man. And you have no human contact. And they'll put your ass up there for like 20 years at a time. That you won't have nothing. And if you have like any visits and shit, you're visits over a video screen. You'll never have contact with your family or kids or none of that. You know what I mean? Everything will be done on a video camera. You know what I mean? So
Are you
your people, like
serious?
I'm talking, like I'm talking to you. This would be our visit. This would be our visitation, man. That's how it would be.
Serious.
If we moved you with that, me and you would never have contact. You know what I mean?
Wow,
Never.
that's wild.
Yeah.
See, see,
That's
like
where they
when
stick you with violence.
that's wild. Like when I went in, the guy
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, because this is my first time. I didn't know shit, right?" And so he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you was a fighter, right?" I'm like, No, I ain't fight. Nah, I'm in there for assault, so yeah, obviously a fight. But he's like, "You fighter?" I'm like, "Nah, man. I'm just here." And so
Yeah,
you know MMA. So like, you know the bad boy, the old bad boy logo.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I got that tattooed on my side. And so he's
yeah,
like, "You can fight," because obviously I'm butt ass naked. You can see every tattoo I got. So he's
yeah,
like, "Oh, okay. Go over here in this spot." I'm just like, "Oh shit." And that's when you see the motherfuckers, you boy, like you look like a nice guy. Like it's just tatted up, was it? I don't know what it is, why it is, but like the teardrops and stuff, and like so, dude
yeah,
got the teardrops, and I'm just like, you hear the stories about the teardrops, like they motherfucker kill somebody or some shit.
yeah,
I don't know, but I was just like,
yeah,
I don't want to be with him. And then this like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I don't give a fuck. Go over there. I'm just like, oh shit.
yeah,
And like, I realized for me, right, the worst part of prison. So we just got prison and the pen, right? That's what we got, right? And so like I was in there for literally 4 weeks, so nothing really,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And like so anything less than 2 years less a day, right? So that's all prison, and then anything more than that is the pen, all right?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying with jail and prison. Yeah, that's our prison we call the pen. So
Okay,
the jail is basically what you calling um that's our jail. Anything
okay,
like with
okay,
2 years
yeah,
or
yeah,
less,
yeah.
that's jail. That's our jail.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing.
So dude was like talking. He's like, he was talking. I was like, bro, what are you talking? And I'm talking to the CEO now. I'm like, bro, what are you talking to me like that for? Like, I ain't no bitch. I ain't no dog. Like, I ain't disrespect you. Don't disrespect me, bro. That was not smart. You know when you get these like spidey feeling? I had these 4 freaking CEOs come behind me. 3 of them come up in front of me. He's like, "Are we gonna have a problem?" I look behind, and I had this like monster behind me. I was just like, no, we good." Yeah, I just wanted to have a conversation. Shit, I'll go over there. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Because the
Yeah,
the young kid, when we were in the holding under the court, he's like, "Yo, if you fight, you smash anybody, do what you want to do. But once the COs get involved, do not swing. You hit a CO, they're gonna catch you with every charge they possibly can. So don't swing when the CO gets involved." And he's like, "Don't talk to CO, don't, because they'll misplace your papers. They'll
yeah,
send you to a different location where you're supposed to be. So don't fuck with the CO." So when he said that, I was just like, all right, shit, my bad. It's
yeah.
just wild. Your first
They don't
day.
give y'all that much time. You don't get that much time out there though, anyway, right? We were talking about that.
Nah, bro. Like I knew a dude like before, like I said, like he didn't want to get the murder charge because he didn't want to do like 8, 9 years, 10 years, whatever the mandatory. So he would just chop people. He would just chop you with a machete, like one of them small little machetes. He would just chop you in your arm. He would chop you across your face. But that's yeah, you ain't getting no time, really, really. Like I know a dude,
You'll get 20. You do some shit like that out here, man. You'll get like 20 years for that, 25 years for that.
25 years just
You hit a
chopping somebody.
motherfucker, you hit a motherfucker with a machete, man, or yeah, dude. That's like malicious wounding type shit, man. Yeah, dude, you have like 20 years for that type of shit out here.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Like
for real.
I know
Yeah,
this dude
or
like
like a main. Yeah, they'll give you 20 years for that.
I know a dude
Damn
that
right.
that went to the bin for murder, like straight up murder, and he was out before I got out of high school. So in high school was 4 years. So like, I don't know if he
Man.
ratted on somebody. I don't know like how that happened, but yeah, like it's
Yeah.
it's, it's weird.
Now they'll give your ass. I mean, they'll give you. We got the death penalty out here, and like fucking, you kill somebody out here, they can kill you. You know what I mean?
Shit.
They'll put the lethal injection in your ass. You know what I mean? They'll
So
kill your ass.
my question, like even like bringing that up, and no, and I'm assuming obviously because your pops was inside, you knew the prison system ain't no joke. You know what I mean? A sense of the length of time that they give, and even the death penalty, right? Like we hear about that. You guys have that stuff down there. When you were
Yeah.
doing your dirt and you were into that business, was that in your mindset? Because like up here, like I didn't give a fuck, but like
Nah. Nah, I didn't care, man. When you're younger, you don't ever think you're gonna get caught doing shit. You know
Facts.
what I mean? And even after I did that first year, I still thought that I wasn't gonna get caught doing shit, man. I started selling drugs shit after my first bid. You know what I mean?
Straight.
So
Yeah.
I always had to set in my mind, man, I'm gonna get away with anything. These motherfuckers can't catch me, especially after being locked up that long. I really thought I was untouchable. You know what I mean? I really thought they
Mm.
couldn't catch me. Because
Yeah.
I was around criminals and I was doing criminal shit, and I was learning so much stuff from other criminals while I was in there. How not to get caught, how to do this better, how to get away with this. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So when I got out here, after going through, a criminal college, so to speak, I thought
Basically.
that I couldn't be touched. I thought I couldn't
Facts.
be touched. You know, but they always, one thing for sure, they learning also. They learning also. So what I can get away with now is like what I know now, criminal wise. If you put me back in like the 30s or 40s, I could probably be a fucking millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
would they would
Yeah.
know how to stop me because they don't have that technology yet. You know what I mean? They wouldn't know how to stop what I know now as far as criminal activity goes. It would blow their mind. They would never
100%.
be able to fuck with me. But as times change, they're always trying to stay a step ahead, man, and they got the technology to do it. And they also got inmates that are coming out. They're giving them that technology. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Yep.
Majority of the shit that these feds and these people know are from people telling them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By people
Yeah.
hipping them to things. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
it's these snitches out here in the street, these rats out here, and these people that are they're the ones they don't have these police out here don't even have to do a job anymore. You're doing it for them.
Facts. That's
They don't
true.
have to do shit.
That's
You know?
true. That's true. I know on your channel when you do your prison talks, you don't do get any really into the nitty gritty of like the glorifying the violence as you say inside. You more
Yeah,
talk about how to get out and how to do it the right way when you switching your
right,
mind up to get yourself
right,
on the right path. I do want to hit on that, but if you could just give us like one story that's just like brings a realization to what really goes on in prison, like maybe that's the culture that you were through because you were in the you had a gang charge, right? So it's a slightly different, I guess. So go ahead.
Well, like I was in the juvenile system, man. So the juvenile system was real violent, man. As far as like, it was like you would get beat up. Officers would get beat up. Like people would fight all the time. So you know, um, I thought fighting carried weight inside prison. So when I got to the adult system, I thought because I could fight, or because I wrestled, and because I looked physically capable to fuck somebody up, that meant shit in prison, man. But uh, prisons are ran by gangs and stuff like that, man. So a lot of your real small, silent people, man, that don't talk, that don't say shit, those are the ones that'll kill your ass. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are gonna stab you up. It's
Yep.
not the big weightlifters out on the weight pile that are benching 500 to 600 pounds with all the tattoos, that are walking around with their chest out. Those aren't the guys that are gonna kill you. 9 times out of 10, they're just trying to scare you. A lot of the little dudes, the quiet ones, the ones that are walking around with those little knives, those are the ones that are gonna kill you when you step out of place, man. Because a lot of those little dudes, they and they don't want no that you're not that they're not gonna let you just take advantage of. They're gonna be the ones that kill
Hmm.
you. You know. And
Facts.
so when I got to the adult system, it was like, man, I wasn't even there like 3 or 4 days, and you hear about people getting raped and killed and all that type of stuff in there, and the gang violence and stuff, but you put the piece together until you see it. And like I wasn't even there like 3 days, and I watched Bud dude stab the shit out this young dude, man, and dude was walking down the pier, and he had already put his pants, like he had shit himself because they stabbed him so much. He shit himself, and you can see the shit coming down his leg and out the back of his boxers and all that stuff, man. And they were helping him downstairs. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, Weekend at Bernie's. How the dead man, how the man's walking and shit.
Yeah.
They were literally trying to make this dude fucking walk like that, and the dude was already fucking dead. And they're trying to walk with him, but it reminded me of the fucking movie Weekend at Bernie's shit. Like when the music would come on, the dead dude would start walking and shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Facts.
It was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
So that was your
But I
third
took the
day.
OT. Yeah, literally third day, man, on a mountain of Greensville, which is where they got the death penalty at. That's where they got the, that's where they executed the sniper at. They uh literally man 3 days and I seen that shit and I was like damn I was like this is like it's a lot different. It's a lot different than what I'm used to seeing. So I knew that these motherfuckers be fighting, these killing man. They playing the heat. They're not joking. You know what I mean? They're not trying to fight you. They're trying to take
Yeah.
your life. You know, so yeah, it's like man, you had to really start stepping a little bit. You know?
You know what I realized, like I've talked to a lot of different people from different walks of life, and from guys that just do fraud to guys that do some other stuff. And
Yeah,
regardless of who you are, it's all about respect. Like where
right,
you are, whoever you're talking to, it's all about respect. But
right,
for me, respect is different from you. You know what I mean? So
right.
what I think I'm doing and giving you respect, you be like, nah, that's disrespectful. And you can take it sideways.
Yeah,
And like I try to tell young bucks, like, yo, regardless of if you're trying to be respectful, regardless you ain't trying to get into problems, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna straighten your shit out. You know what I mean? Especially when you go inside, like you're in there for
yeah,
a reason. Like you're not in there because you got the nicest, nice award. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
people that do some real
yeah.
dirt with you.
Damn right.
Yeah, man. Like when you said that and you had to go back in your bunk at the end of the day, you know what I mean? What went through your mind? Like it's just like, yo, like what went through your mind the first day? That was your first thing you seen, really?
Well, like I say this shit, man. Like I said, a lot of these people that go in the military and stuff like that, man. A lot of these young dudes out here, it's either, especially where I live at, man. A lot of these dudes are either working at McDonald's or what I'm saying, you selling drugs or you go in the military for a lot of these people out here. So a
Yeah.
lot of these young dudes, you get the benefits, you get the career, what I mean, stuff like that of work, being in the military. And these young dudes sign up for something that they don't necessarily know what they're signing up for. They go out here and they end up having to go to war. And next thing you know, they see people get killed or they have to kill or whatever. And their mind, they're fresh out of high school or something. Their mind is not geared towards being a savage, you know. So when now being in prison is almost the same thing, except not signing up for this shit. But we've lived that savage life, so we a certain lifestyle that kind of somewhat prepared you for what you're about to go in there and see and do because it's nothing new to you. If your friend's dad's in prison, your dad's in prison, or you on the street with other dudes that hey, their parents have been in prison. You already hear and know the story.
Yeah.
Don't take a lot for people to know that there's gangs in prison, people get raped in prison, people get killed in prison. I mean, you can watch
Facts.
pretty much any locked up brawl and figure that out.
Facts.
So when I got in there and I seen it firsthand, it was kind of like, oh, this shit's real. But I had already been through so much, institutions and stuff, and group homes and juvenile prison and stuff like that, that I was already kind of already knew that that's what goes on there. So I was already kind of numb to it. But if you're a dead person that has no idea that lifestyle, the day of that life, and you're in that situation, it would probably fuck them up pretty bad mentally.
Yo,
Uh,
just one thing. Would you be able to put the camera like more towards you because I see like half of you? Yeah, right there. Bless.
all right,
Yeah.
yeah, it would probably fuck you up. For mentally, man, for somebody that's fresh that doesn't know nothing about this type of lifestyle, it probably fuck them up. But like I said, I was already kind of prepared for the shit, and then like from there, like I had more murders. I've been on investigations for big things that have went on inside prison that I wasn't involved in, but they snatched me up under investigation behind things, and I've spent a year in the hole. So I've seen dudes get raped. I've literally been on the stairwell, dudes get raped, and I just walk around like
Like
guarantee
dude was
around the
getting
news
raped, like
like
straight up rape.
Yeah, straight rape. And fucking, and I've walked around it. I just get to be on the stairwell. I walk right
Damn.
around that shit and go make a ramen noodle, man, and go watch TV like nothing's happened. That's how dumb and immune you get to this shit. But if another person sees it like that doesn't know nothing about this lifestyle, it probably fuck their whole world up. Same way with these
Most
young dudes
definitely.
going into the military, watching death or somebody get killed or watching somebody next to you get fucking blown up by a mine or something like that. Um, that that's gonna fuck them up because they're not mentally prepared for what's really about to happen. They might watch war movies or some shit, but they're not thinking that that's really legit stuff that happens. You know what I mean?
Mm,
They're not ready
facts,
for it.
facts. So this question, just got to go back to that. I seen somebody get raped on the stairwell. The COs didn't see nothing,
Yeah.
or they just
Nah,
turn a
man.
blind
Most
eye to it too.
nah, they wouldn't turn a blind eye to it, man. Nah, it's not like that. Um, there are some shady COs in there that most of the drugs and cell phones and shit like that can be. So I'm not saying they're not shady, but
Facts.
as far as somebody getting raped or killed or some shit like that, they're probably not turning their back on that shit. But there's so many inmates are 10 steps ahead of correctional officers, man, in every aspect, pretty much most of the time, unless you just don't give a fuck. It's really hard to catch inmates doing what they, you know what I mean? And when there is something that serious that happens, like with rape or somebody gets killed or something shit there, they bring a different team in there from the streets because they don't know the repercussion or the backlash from the people's families, or the newspapers or how it might get out to the social media. Because
Oh shit.
I've been on prison where dudes have gotten killed and nobody even knew about it. Like that shit wasn't on the news, that shit wasn't in the newspaper. Like you didn't even know about it. It's like what the fuck? Like you
Wow.
didn't hear about shit. And rapes are even more. Like rapes are like that shit always happens. So you'll never hear about that shit outside the prison. You'll never hear about that. But if you hear somebody get raped out here on the street, oh, that shit might be all over the news. Or if you hear somebody people get killed, that shit might be all over the news or something. But in prison, when somebody
Yeah.
dies or gets raped, like that, man, you don't really hear about that shit. It's like nothing.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Not shit.
So after you did eight, and then what happened when you like came out the last time? You say you started doing the underground, you started doing the fights and started promoting that stuff. So what
Yeah.
was the change from the first time you were like, yo, shit, I went to college in this shit. I'm fucking untouchable. To the second time to getting out to actually doing something more productive. What was that switch up?
When you get older, man, and you start watching your family members dying there, you watch your kids start calling somebody else dad, and they don't know you. Say you watch like me personally, I watched my mom overdose and die, my personal mom. You know what I mean? Watch my other family members get old and die on this shit. And there, it's like time stands still. You don't really have a perception of time. So, but out here, time's still running. So people are still getting old. People are still dying. You know what I mean? The kids are fucking growing up. You don't see your kids. You're way out in the middle of nowhere. So you have no visits. You have no contact with kids or family and stuff like that. So it gets to a point, man. It's like, look, man, you either come to the conclusion, look, man, I'm just going to do the rest of my life here because I'm not meant for the street, or you have to make that adjustment, man. You have to short circuit those wires, man, because if you don't, you'll keep coming back. I know guys that have done 30 years and go right back to prison because they can't survive out here on the street. They're so institutionalized and they're so used to that structure of being behind the fence they don't know anything out here. Electronics have been locked up for years. You got to figure 30 years ago, there was no type of electronics, there was no type of technology, none of that shit. So these people are getting out here on the street with 5 gig cell phones and YouTubes and
Yeah.
fucking you got to remember a lot of them went to prison when they were 18. They never even drove before. Like all these high tech cars out here, they can't start a fucking
Yeah.
a push start car. You know what I mean? They have absolutely no perception of what the fuck is going on out here. So to them, it's like, and then they're tatted up and they're gang members and stuff, and they can't get jobs. Nobody wants to hire a motherfucker out here if you're a felon. So you know, they go back to doing what they got to do. They have no family. They're 30 years in prison. Their moms and dad been dead. You know what I mean? They don't have anybody out here.
Yeah.
Maybe a brother or sister that ain't got nothing to do with you. So you basically out here with nothing and nobody. You know, you got to eat, and the state's giving you shit no more. The state's not giving you those 3 meals no more. You know, then you can't even get a job out here. Like even though you only get just an hour in there, you can't get a job out here.
Mm.
So they go back to doing what they got to do. That's why the recidivism rate for people going back to prison after doing more than 5 years is 80% just in the state of Virginia. Some states are even higher. You know?
Damn,
So
man.
83% of motherfuckers will do 5 years in prison in Virginia. You're going back to prison. No, that's a fact. You're going back. I was
That's
one of
crazy.
them. I went back. So trust me, I know. But it gets to the point, man, where you gotta break that. You gotta break that cycle, man, for your kids or whatever your situation, whatever draws you away from it. To me, it was like, man, I'm trying to part. I'm trying to have something to do with my kid's life, man. I'm tired of watching my family die. I know if I go back this time, I'm probably gonna do life in prison. So, because we got that three strikes or outlaw here. It's like three strikes,
Shit.
your ass doing life. You know what I mean? You
Wow.
getting life. You catch another felony, you doing life. There's no coming back out. So, um, that's reality. And plus, I mean, I ain't been on probation since I was 13. I just got off probation when I was 40. I'm 43 now. I've never been off papers my entire life, you know. So I came
Wow.
out here. I got my studio, driving tractor trailers. I was making $60,000, $70,000 a year. I didn't need to do crime, and I was making enough money to survive. And then I started helping other
You said
inmates. I started
60,
going,
70 driving a truck?
yeah, tractor trailer, yeah, about 60,000, 70,000 a year. I is, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can make bank. Yeah, you make
Like,
bank driving trucks, man. And I've helped so many people get their CDLs since they've been out. My friend Danny Rios, he's got his own trucking company, and he makes probably about $1 million a year, fresh out of prison, man. He's got three of his own trucks now. He's not even working for a company. He's got his own shit, and I mean, he makes probably
wow.
about $6,000 a week off of each truck. I mean, he's making bread, and I'm the one that got him his shit. I've gotten probably about 14 people their CDL since they've been out of prison. So
Really,
I've
huh?
helped a lot of people get their shit. Yeah, and the thing about the CDL is such a good job for inmates selling stuff like that because a lot of them they don't care. They don't care if you got a murder charge. They don't care what kind of charge you have. As long as you got a clean driving record, they don't give a fuck
Yeah.
about your tattoo. All they care about is you ain't got no DUIs, no reckless driving, stuff like that. That's all they care about. As long as you ain't got none of that shit, you can drive tractor trailers in this. So I help
Shit,
guys
man.
get that. And yeah, help me do that. And I was on the cover of Citizen magazine. So starting to think on Showtime here soon, hopefully Showtime soon. If it's
Showtime, huh?
stupid,
Jeez.
yeah, I don't know why this. There it goes. Um, we're gonna go back in. We're gonna follow like three inmates once the COVID thing lifts. We're gonna go back in and we're gonna pick like three inmates. Yeah, I got a lot of friends that like in the prison system here, man. You can get your electrician's license, you can get your plumbing license, you can get your barbering license. They offer you a lot of different classes in prison in
Yeah.
Virginia. So you can leave prison with a trade if you want. And that's what I go and I try to help them understand. Like if you don't come out here with a trade, um, probably going back to prison, man. You got to find in the offer because they're gonna hire that 16-year-old before they hire you because
Yeah.
they're not a risk of stealing from them. They're not a risk of not showing up at work. To them, they don't have scary ass tattoos that's gonna draw them away from the public and stuff like that. I don't know. So to them, it's less of a risk.
Yeah.
So, but if you come out here with a real trade that the world can't go without, like heating and air conditioning, the world can't go without heating and air. So if you're certified, they don't give a fuck about you being a felon. All they know that as long as they know what you're doing, and they know that you can go in here and do this heating and air conditioning, and you're certified. That's all they care about, man. So they'll
Yeah.
hire you. So these guys, man, you need to come out here with these trades and these skills, man. If you want to come out here and succeed, man. And like I said, I do CDL and I help you guys get your CDL and
That's
stuff. So
amazing,
that's
bro.
one thing that I do and shit. But and you got to come out here, man, well prepared. Because if you don't, you're gonna fail and come back. It's look that easy.
It's so true. Like where I'm about to do a podcast with a guy through the military, got out, and the transition from the military to civilian world was completely different. You know what I mean? My
Yeah,
buddy, he went from high school, military, war, civilian. And that
yeah,
switch from military to civilian was a complete, mind fuck because you can't act the same way in civilian like and as in the military, right? Same way as for you guys coming from the bin, it's a different world, it's a different life. And getting that mind straight before you get out, not the day you get out, not 24 hours, I'm gonna just do my last hurrah. No. when you're
Yeah.
in still, you still got to get that mind right, because if not, they're gonna
Without,
snatch you up again, right?
that's what I tell them, man. And I try and I compare this a lot. Like you talk about, I compare this a lot to the military, man.
That's amazing.
It's a lot of the same. You see a lot of the same. You'll see the death. You'll be forced to do things you don't want to do. You're on a schedule that they make you have. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to tell you what to do, when to do it. They're almost one and the same, except one is voluntary and one is not. One you do have an option to take fuck you. The other one you're forced to have to do. So there is that line, um, but they do got a lot of similarities, man.
Facts, facts, facts. And like, how does that make you feel like yourself? Like when you can say, "Hey, you know what? I helped X and X some of the people get out and make lives for themselves, for their family." You know what I mean? That's you. That's yourself. You chose to do that. You don't got to do that. You know what I mean? You don't got to go
Yeah,
back and do all this stuff. Like, rather than going out, coming out, doing your thing, just basically trying to get that money for yourself. Now you actually going back to help other people. How does that make you feel at the end of the day? Like you can sit back and be like, yeah,
man, a lot of that shit's therapy for me, man. Like I said, I do that live feed every day on my YouTube station, man. I talk to people all day and help dudes, even as far as like diets and workouts go. And then I'll person talk on my live feed sometimes, man. We might conversate for an hour straight about prison. It's basically just conversations up for grabs, man. Anybody talk about whatever you want to talk about. And that's therapy for me, man. Because when I hear dudes on here like Mouse, man, you helped me lose such and such amount of weight, man. Man, I got my CDL because of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man, can you talk to my son, man? He's in prison, man. Man, reach out to him, man. Hey, look, after talking to my son, man, he's changing, man. He's starting to do this, he's starting to do that. After y'all did that scared straight program for the kids and stuff, they got their mind right. When I hear stuff like that, that keeps me motivated to keep going, man. Because if I wasn't getting that, I probably wouldn't still keep doing it. You know.
facts, facts, facts. And man, like I honestly, I can tell you, man, like I saw one of your videos, like we were saying the other day, your the prison burpee video.
Yeah,
Man, I swear to God, I tried it. I couldn't get past like 10 of them. But one thing that you said that like I'm what 32, 5'11", 260, right? Out
yeah,
of shape like a mug. Now, can I scrap? Most definitely. Can I take a beating? Most definitely. I can hold my own.
right,
But the difference is I ain't in shape. So if,
yeah,
if I go up against another mouse or I go up against myself when I was 19, 20, I'd tear myself up. And when you
yeah,
said this was crazy, don't worry about the criminals, okay, but they're gonna come make you the victim of their crime. And I was like,
yeah,
man, you know what? I was in that lifestyle. I was in shape when I was doing that, and I did smack a lot of fools. But I'm that same guy now. I'm living in middle class freaking Canada. Ain't nothing gonna really
yeah,
happen, but somebody
right,
is looking, right? So, man, for
yeah,
even myself, like I'm getting trying to get back in shape because watching your videos, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Doing this stuff is because, like, hey, you know what? I feel like I have a story. Your story is clearly incredible. Like, you
right,
went
yeah,
from people that would say that down in the gutter to doing amazing things, changing people's lives. Like you said, people like you got somebody from prison to making millions of dollars, right?
right,
That's you, right? And it's because clearly your heart is bigger than your body, obviously, because that's an
yeah.
incredible thing that you're doing right there. My question here for you too, just before we wrap up, one thing or two things. One, what is one thing, if you like, I know you said earlier I wouldn't change anything because you're helping people that you wouldn't be able to help either way, other ways, otherwise. If
Right.
there was something that you could change, do it differently, is there something that you would change at all, or you'd still keep the same? Like, nah, you wouldn't change.
I'd like to see what I would have been if I would have went the other road. I'd like to see what I could have became. Just strictly off of me being selfish. I don't know, but I don't know if that's what you call it. I like to just see what I would if I would have went to college and wrestled and you know, um, got some degree and stuff like that or whatever. Man, I like to look at that road. I don't know if I would so much change it, but I would like to have just seen where that road would have took me. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I
Yeah.
would have liked to have seen it. I wouldn't say that I would change anything. Um, I think I may have gotten a little bit more into the reentry program when I was in prison, like I do now. Like I go back into the prisons now and talk to inmates. Well, not now because of the COVID, but I go back into the prison and I help inmates and stuff and talk to them. We go in there. We go to different prisons like once a month. I think I would take that. I would have took the program a little bit more serious and when I was in there than what I did. But definitely like where my life would have been if I would have did the college thing and did the right thing. But God always got a plan for you. I don't know what your beliefs are, but God always puts you in a position to wherever He wants you to be at. You know what I mean? So I
Facts.
feel like all this where I'm at now and what I'm doing now, I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't go through what I've been. You know what I mean? So
So
the
true.
agony, spending a year in the hole in the summertime, 110 degrees, no food, 2 showers a week, stand smelling piss all day long, not having no human contact, like wishing death, you know what I mean? Like all that agony, man. Of course, I would, my mind. I wish I didn't have to go through that shit, man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be, like I said, I still wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now if it wasn't for that. I
And
can't
man,
take it away. You know?
like you, like honestly, like I think you're what, or somebody, you and some people like you are what their community needs, right? Because you're not glorifying the stuff before. And I gotta say it again, your YouTube video has nothing to do about glorifying anything of
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
that you did, anything that you did when you're inside. Nothing. There's no glorifying it, and I really respect that because you see guys out, either hip hop or whatever, just on the road. That's what they do. They glorify it. And people will look up to a guy like you and say, "Oh man, look at you! You got your family, and you did all this there. Maybe I can." But you're not even
right,
about that, right? You're not about that at all. It's really good to see. It's really amazing to see. Is like, you know what? I've been through it, and here I am now. And I'm telling you, don't do that, right?
right.
And like your channel, I think on YouTube is like at 200,000, a quarter million, subscribers.
178,000 right now.
I don't know, yeah, like bro, like yeah, I'm sure it's going to grow a lot more, in the coming years for sure. Like that's without a doubt. Your mindset, your hunger is incredible and impeccable. 2 hours on the bike every day, still running the trails, still sparring, still getting it in, still scrapping. But the main thing I really do love, like truly love about you, is the heart that you have for the streets, in the sense of what these guys are going through. You know the
Right.
time, the years that these guys are you know gonna might have to do, but yet you're out there in the hood bringing raps. Bringing, can you talk about that a bit, just before we wrap up, just what you do with bringing the gloves, bringing the raps to the community,
Yeah, it's on my channel too, man. We go back into the projects and stuff like that, man, and we get like gang members and stuff like that also involved. I got, like I said, we got a TV show getting ready to come out on cable down in Texas, and I got a bunch of bloods that are gonna fight Crips that are willing to put the guns down and pick up the gloves. That doesn't always happen. I've had city councilmen that have given speeches about what we've done. I've had senators talk about what we're doing out here right now. They love what we're doing with this movement. I actually just put up a video earlier today with me putting gloves on with a police officer. That was part of the narcotics task force down in South Carolina. I just drove 8 hours back from Carolina this morning. I just got back. Um, so um, we go back into the hoods pretty much, man. Where guys that kids and stuff like that, they can't afford gyms, they can't afford gloves, they can't afford bags. I mean, like New Jersey, this place down Philly, and Baltimore, we've been in some serious neighborhoods, man, and that these people don't have absolutely nothing. So what we do is we go back in there and we get like all the kids in the neighborhood. I'll go out there with like 19, 13 and some of our other guys, and we'll get the kids to come out. We'll have them put gloves on, and they'll start hitting pads, and we'll train with them for a couple hours, and we'll leave like dads out there with some pads and some gloves, so the kids can still train after we leave and stuff like that. And we'll come back to that same neighborhood, maybe a couple times a month, man, to really get them, established out there, and then we'll go on to another neighborhood, man. But we've been doing that for quite a while now. We've done all the places out here in Richmond, a lot of the projects out here. We've done a lot of the projects down here in Newport News, like I said, Philly, Camden, all through Jersey and New York City and stuff like that. So,
Mm,
and we're gonna keep doing that. I got Malicious Industries. They donate a lot of that stuff to us to help us be able to take that stuff out there, man. And we post up everybody's banners that that participate and helps out their companies and their businesses as well, man. The
definitely.
people that donate, it don't even have to be new equipment, man. It can be used stuff. And but anything, man. 'Cause like I said, a lot of people don't have anything.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And brother, man, again, thank you so much for your time. But the last thing I have to say is if you were to state your name and then say I am a victor.
Yeah. Oh man, Mighty Mouse, man. I'm definitely a victim, man. Definitely.